What everyone should know about the month of January. There are 3 important things everyone should know about the month of January. Number 1. The month of January has not always been the first month of the year. In the initial Roman calendar, which had only 10 months, the year began in March. In that ancient calendar, January and February were completely missing. The 60 days that were later designated as January and February were too cold and were seen as useless to the farmers. The period was not even given a name. The 2 months, January and February, were only added in 713 BC. Despite this addition, March continued to retain its position as the first month of the year until about 153 BC. January, which was named after Janus, was deemed fit from 153 BC to occupy its present position as the first month. January maintained this position in the Julian and in the present Gregorian calendars. Number 2, the month of January has cultural origination. The month of January, as we know it today, has its roots in ancient cultures and civilizations. The name January comes from the Roman god Janus, who had 2 faces, one looking forward and one backward. The Romans considered January the beginning of the new year because it marked the start of the agricultural cycle and the return of longer days after the winter solstice. In ancient Rome, January was also a time for reflection, renewal, and making promises for the upcoming year. This cultural practice has evolved over time and influenced the way many societies celebrate the start of a new year. Do you now realize the connection between the ancient Roman culture and the present European and world civilizations? Do you realize why the Catholic Church respects various cultures and encourages cultural practices that are not contrary to the Christian faith? Imagine that Janus were to be an African deity. I tell you, many African Christians would never celebrate crossover nights because in their usual reasoning, night and darkness have nothing in common. Enough of this unwarranted and unprogressive thinking that everything about African culture is fetish. Number 3, the first day of January is not the first day of every new year. The third thing we should know about the month of January is that the first day of January is not the first day of every new year. In other words, every new year does not begin on January 1st annually. There are religious and spiritual New Year celebrations. Islamic New Year is observed on the first day of the month of Muharram, usually in September or October. This celebration marks the beginning of the new year on the Islamic calendar. Bahá'í New Year Nowruz is celebrated on March 20th or 21st. This celebration marks the beginning of the new year on the Bahá'í calendar, etc. Various nations celebrate their new year on different days each year. Chinese people celebrate their new year on a different day each year, usually in late January or early February. Nowruz Persian New Year is celebrated on the first day of spring, around March 20th or 21st. Diwali Hindu New Year is a 5-day celebration in India and other countries, usually in October or November. Jewish people celebrate their New Year, Rosh Hashanah, in September or October. In Ethiopia, the New Year is celebrated on September 11th or 12th. While January 1st is widely recognized as the start of a new year, it is essential to acknowledge and respect the diverse range of alternative calendars and celebrations observed by cultures and communities around the world. Today, the Gregorian calendar is the most widely used calendar system in the world. However, we have learned that it is not universal. Other cultures and religions still use their traditional calendars for specific purposes. The truth is that January 1st is not the only day for the beginning of a new year. On your birthday, marriage, graduation, employment, and even death anniversary, you step into a new year in that regard. Therefore, stop behaving as if January 1st is the only time you are entering a new year. Happy New Year and peace be with you. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and remember to like and share the message with others.